Hello, I'm Mark Batt. I'm the director of the Thiel Fund at Thiel College, and I'm sitting here today and going to have a conversation with Gabriele Eaborn, our men's and women's tennis coach here at Thiel. Coach, really glad to have you here today. Thank you for coming.
Glad to be here.
You've been at Thiel for 3 years now. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to Thiel and as our head coach?
Yeah, so actually Thiel College is my first coaching experience in the collegiate sense. I came from a student athlete within the same conference as Thiel, so it was a transition from being a student athlete to a college coach, but thankfully being in the same conference as Thiel did help me out, knowing that I played against them for 4 years, so that kind of helped with the transition, but it's definitely been a transition and challenging, but a definitely rewarding experience.
And we're very glad to have you here.
Thank you.
You've done a great job. Along those lines, Coach, could you tell us a little bit about the recent past for your programs and maybe some successes that you've had and maybe some things that you're working towards?
Yeah, so when I got hired in, I knew that Thiel College was developing and growing as a tennis program, so there was no shock in that. But last season with my women, I had a remarkable season. We had the most wins in program history, which in my second year wasn't exactly what I was expecting, so it was definitely incredible. And really, I give the credit to my student athletes. They understood my buy-in, what we wanted to do, and they practiced every day with my philosophy, and we had a really great season, and I hope to build on that this year.
And it sounds like you kind of had a young roster when you speak about their success. Am I correct?
Yeah, so when my second year here, we had 4 returners. So I needed at least 6 players to play, so I brought in 6 freshmen, and they really changed the program around and really helped the team and that philosophy. They didn't know any other way of Thiel. It was only my way, no other coach, so I think it really helped. And we're just going to continue to build on that, hopefully, this year.
Well, you did a wonderful job, that year, and I know you had some individual success for you. You were the PAC Coach of the Year last year, am I correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, that's a wonderful accomplishment, especially in your first year.
Yeah, no, it was really exciting. Didn't expect that, but like I said, I couldn't have got it without, the girls listening and them doing what I was asking.
Absolutely.
So really give them the most of the credit.
Oh, that's wonderful. So we talk about the pandemic and COVID-19 and how it's affecting our athletes here at Thiel College. How's it affected your program, and what are some of the things that you've found challenging, throughout this since March?
Yeah, so my men's season play in the spring. So unfortunately, last year we got 1 match in February before everything was canceled. And, for the seniors, it was very challenging because they knew they weren't coming back to play another season. But for my women, we were hoping to play this fall. And because tennis is a low-impact sport, we were kind of set to play. And then all August we were practicing every day as if we had a competition this fall, and then kind of by the end of August everything kind of took a turn and they decided it would be best to suspend the season until the spring, which is definitely challenging for practice every day right now because they're coming to practice, practicing what I'm asking them to do, but there's no kind of end game. There's no competition to see all their hard work being paid off, and I actually just had a conversation with one of my captains about that, how she said it was a little challenging, every day being 100% focused without competition. So that's kind of been challenging, but on the good side, we have all fall to prepare and develop as players to better prepare us for our competition in the spring.
Right, and I can see it would be difficult both for the student athletes in the program, but as a coach, you probably have to get kind of creative in terms of practicing and maybe practice times because the entire schedule is kind of thrown off.
Oh yeah, it's been very challenging, especially since, we're usually preparing who's playing what spots. Like that's something we work on in the fall, like who's going to be the #1 singles and things like that. So that takes a lot of practice time away with matches and things like that. But it's, not something we have to do this fall because what happens this fall will be different than in the spring. So definitely have to come up with fun games too to keep everyone interested and competitive during this with each other during the fall because they can't compete with other schools right now.
Right. A lot of these discussions that we're having with our coaches, we're hoping that some of your recruits or the students, athletes that you're interested might, click on the link and watch and learn a little bit about your program. What are some of the things that you look for in a student athlete when you're out recruiting in the high schools?
Yeah, so first off, I'm looking for students that are highly motivated, of course, on the tennis court, but also in the classroom. I want a player that's well-rounded in all elements. And because we're Division III, I need a player that's just passionate about tennis and that will positively contribute to the team dynamic, because we're not giving athletic scholarship to play, so you do have to have passion for it. And as long as you're coachable, I'll take many different levels as long as you're willing to learn and be part of a positive environment.
Right, that's very good. The President's Athletic Conference, the conference that we're in, Coach, will you be having a spring season? We're not sure if we are.
So yeah, it's still a lot of uncertainties of how we're going to have a spring season, but right now we are hopeful to have our men's and women's play in the spring, which usually our men just play in the spring, but we are hoping to bring the women in the spring. And then are we going to do dual matches where our men and women go together and compete? Are we going to do separate days? That stuff, we don't really know what's going on with that. But we're actually one of the few conferences in the country that actually play the women in the fall. Most conferences do play men and women in the spring.
I see.
So, because the national championship for women is actually in May. So at the end of the day, it's really not too different than many of the other colleges around. So we are definitely planning on playing this spring.
Right. When you recruit athletes, that's changed with COVID in terms of a lot of the athletes that you're trying to recruit, their sports are being postponed in the high school. What's different now about your recruiting and how you're getting in touch with student athletes, to come visit and maybe tell them a little bit more about your program if you can't do it personally?
Sending videos and watching videos of players, of course, we'd rather see them in person, but that's kind of where we're at, and just talking a lot on the phone and virtual talking pretty much. And, it's hard to get on campus, but Thiel thankfully is allowing campus visits, so we're just hoping to take advantage of those.
Right, and it's not like your counterparts can do anything really different too, so we're all on a level playing
Yeah,
field.
the one actually I read about, one of the social media platforms we use has took a huge spike in members and coaches, because that's kind of where we're all at right now. So
Right.
just taking what we can and going with it.
Oh, very good. Gabby, you've been here 3 years. What's special about Thiel for you as a coach here, but maybe a little bit more importantly, to students that are thinking about coming to Thiel? What is good about Thiel that we can tell them that if they came here they would experience?
I think my favorite thing about Thiel is just how small and close the community is. My athletes are known for what sport they're doing. They know about their majors around campus, and I think that's, pretty cool. And the connections you make here at Thiel seems like they last a lifetime, which, is incredible. And then with my players, they all, come from diverse backgrounds. They're in different majors, different hobbies, things like that. But, once we're on the court, they come together for a common goal of playing tennis. And, having that small-knit family, not only on our tennis team, but on a whole campus is, really great. And, I went to a small school, so being back at a small school definitely is something I enjoy being part of. And, everyone knows who you are, so I think that's a great thing.
Those personal relationships,
yeah, and I think that's
personal
the best
attention.
part about a small school.
Yeah, oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you very much for being here and sharing that information with us. Good luck when you get a chance to play again competitively, and we're looking forward to a real competitive season for the tennis teams.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.